Magnus sacrifices the knight. Knight takes f2. King takes f2. Look at this. Look at this poor bishop on h2. The bishop goes to g1. Now rook g2. Magnus is just down a full bishop. But is this really a bishop at all? Bishop f2, the king goes back. Magnus simultaneously threatening king f3 and the advancement of the h-pawn. Rook g6, king f3. It looks like there are mates abound, but the bishop takes the h-pawn. Rook b1 check, the bishop has to block, now king takes e3. If Hikaru loses both of the pawns, then Hikaru is going to be in a drawing position, or he's going to lose, right? Hikaru's got to win the pawns. Rook and bishop versus rook is a draw. Now, rook to b6. Magnus plays king f3, now rook to h6, trying to kick the king out, pawn to e3. This is a terrifying position for Hikaru, who despite being up a bishop, is hardly up a bishop at all. Rook h3 check, king to e4, rook h5, pawn to b4, rook h2. Hikaru shuffling, unsure. Does he defend? Does he counterattack? What does he do? Because the king and the rook for black are defending all of black's pawns. Rook to a1, just questioning. Now rook to b2. King into f3. And that's it. Magnus has taken Hikaru's penultimate pawn. The pawn on a2, hardly a pawn at all. That pawn will probably fall in the heat of the battle. Hikaru now has to probably change his attention completely to just making a draw. Rook h4 check. The king goes to f3. Check again. Here comes Magnus's pawn. This is a terrifying prospect for Hikaru, who plays rook b2, king f3. And now he realizes that if he takes this, there's e2 check. And he's going to lose his bishop and he's going to lose the game. So Hikaru seemingly has to just protect the second rank. Rook to b1, rook h3. But now, if you protect the second rank, if you just play rook h2, is there pawn to f3? Right? Is there some prospect where you are just going to get smothered? No, you are just in time, actually. But Hikaru doesn't have enough time to figure all of that out. He pins the pawn, and now apparently the move rook a1 here is winning. Rook a1, because if rook to h2, there is f3, and this position, when the rook is not on b1, is a win for black because rook b4 does not hit the rook. That was the difference. In the other position that I showed you, this comes with a tempo on the rook. But in the other version that I showed you with the rook on a1, in this position, black can play f2 and the game is over. Black needs to hide the rook to be able to push the pawns. But rook b2, he misses it. Now, here comes Hikaru activating his bishop, but king f3 is the cold shower because now he has lost his final pawn and all the pawns will come down the board. King g5, pawn to b3, and the rook and the bishop just are ill-equipped to stop all of these pawns from falling. Rook b8, b2. That pawn is a moment away from queening, but it's also the king. The king and the pawns are dancing in, and that is it. Rook to b4, pawn to f2, take,